Yeah, and you know, right before this live shot, I actually had a sneeze attack, Amy. I counted 5 sneezes in a row. So, of course, we're dealing with that aspect of the pollen. And I want to show you, we're also dealing with it in our pools. So as soon as I knew I was going to be doing this story, I took these chairs out of my sun shelf to show you that yellow line of pollen that was collecting on the sides of my pool. This is exactly what we're talking about here. So sometimes there can be so much buildup of this yellow pollen, you might start to think you're dealing with something more serious like algae. But marine science experts say there's a noticeable color difference, and that's one way to tell. Pollen will be very yellow in color, whereas algae will be greener. Pollen and algae also collect in different places. You'll typically see algae on the walls or the steps, and it might cause your whole water to have a greenish hue. Pollen will instead float on the surface or leave a ring around the edge of your pool. A professor of marine science at FGCU says another big difference between algae and pollen is one of them will respond to basic pool maintenance when treating your water.
A lot of the pollen that we see around here is very yellow in color. When you get algae in the pool, usually the 2 places you see it are going to be kind of on the walls or maybe on the steps of the pool, and it'll be growing on the walls, or the whole water will kind of have a greenish hue to it. So I would say that, you know, one easy thing to do besides looking at the color difference would be, do you see it really floating on the surface or kind of leaving a ring around the edge of the pool at the surface? Or do you see it growing up and down on the walls?
Is this something that you've been dealing with yourself? We want to know. We created a post on the Fox 4 Facebook page. There's also one on my personal Facebook page if you search Jessica Alpern, and we want to see your photos. So we're asking you to go ahead and leave those photos in the comments, especially if you're having trouble telling the difference between pollen and algae. We'll work this morning to help answer those questions for you. Reporting live from home, Jessica Alpern, Fox 4.